Hello and welcome everyone. This is a game called Infinity Battlescape. This is actually a prototype, a very early prototype that was kind of given to a few YouTubers to explore and to make opinions of. And I've been kind of playing this around with this for a while, and I really needed to take a look at this and to make a video about it because this is ridiculous. This is awesome. Now this game is still on Kickstarter and you can actually support it in the description. In the link in the description below, and I would totally recommend to support this game if you have a few bucks to spare, because as I'll show you, this is so much more advanced than any current space simulator, including Elite Dangerous. This is essentially sort of like Elite. It takes a lot of premises from Elite, and basically makes them so much better. Now this is going to be a multiplayer game where essentially you are in a spacecraft and there's lots of spacecraft to choose from, and there's an enemy right there. I'm gonna go shoot him up. Here essentially you are in this seamless world with absolutely no loading screens. Everything in this game is in real time. It's all basically realistic distances. This game uses Newtonian physics, meaning that you actually have to, propel yourself in a certain direction for you to basically move. And as you accelerate, your speed will stay you'll have that speed. And I can also show you what the spaceship looks like from the outside by clicking this button right here. So basically you can kind of see there's all these thrusters that make my spaceship turn in certain directions. Now the best part of this game is of course the fact that it has planetary landing already. Now this is only a prototype, and I'll show you even in this prototype you can actually land on every planet. You can approach every single object, you can accelerate, and you can even use warp speed. And the way warp speed works in this game is essentially you have to reach a certain velocity, and specifically I think it's somewhere above 5 kilometers per second. There's actually a bar on the right side that shows you how fast you have to be going, and we're going to be going through an asteroid field right now, I think. Sorry, not asteroid field. This is actually planetary rings, and we're going to be going through these rings and possibly even smacked into one of them. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure my guns are working. Let's approach this, whatever that is. It's red on the screen, so I'm assuming it's because it's an enemy. And let's try to shoot it with our lasers. What I really like about this so far is how absolutely atmospheric it is. It actually feels like you are in actual space, not in some sort of a playground space, or not in some sort of a space simulator, but literally in space. You'll notice that every single object is procedurally rendered. That's not a good sign. That's because we're about to enter dangerous area with a lot of asteroids in it. I should probably not really come that close to them. Alright, that is not a good sign. Okay, let's just position ourselves this way. We're gonna try to maneuver ourselves like a professional space fighter, like in the movies. Alright, let's not smack into something. Now, like I mentioned before, yeah, so everything is procedurally generated. It's sort of, it's created on the fly, and every planet is also very detailed. I'm gonna be landing on one of the planets. We'll choose one in this playthrough, and I'll show you what it looks like when you actually approach it. But first, let's actually see what this is, because I'm kind of curious now. And while we fly into this location, let me just show you some of the beautiful views here. So this is what the spacecraft looks like from the front. You can see this stuff in the background there. There's a really bright gas giant on our right, and I've actually tried to land there before, and it actually is very gas giant-y. It has really strong winds, and if you go really low in its atmosphere, you will collapse, you'll die, you'll actually get destroyed. And that gas giant is actually really difficult to escape as well because of its gravitational pull. And so if you get stuck there, you will be stuck there for a little bit, for a long time actually. So this looks like some sort of an asteroid operation, maybe a mining operation, and it's called Scoria Zeta 15. I don't really know what it is, but let's go and find out. It is red on our screen, so that's probably means that it's an enemy. Although a lot of other things are kind of blue. Oh, moving too fast, moving too fast. Abort! I mean, up, down. Yeah. Okay, that means we died. That means we died. So I smacked into something and I have been perished. Now, you usually start the game in this area right here. And so what you have to do first is that you have to turn on your engines, just like in a car. And then you can basically fly up and go somewhere else. Now, alright, so that was a failure, but I think there was nothing on that asteroid except for the actual asteroidy things. Now, let me just show you how the guns work so you can actually shoot everything here. And everything will have damage. It doesn't have a particularly real... Uh-oh. Oh, hello. Is anyone attacking me? No. It doesn't really have a particularly realistic damage model yet, but there's a lot of things that they've actually they've promised and they're planning to achieve here. There's going to be basically massive battles, and this game is going to be quite PvP heavy as well. There's going to be a lot of interplanetary warfare as well, like things like orbital bombardment and long-range planetary defenses, so you have to protect certain planets. We're gonna go to this planet right here because it looks like a terraformed or Terra-like planet. So we're gonna try to land on it. Let's accelerate, and we're gonna try to use our warp drive. I'm gonna show you how the warp drive works. There's also a really interesting atmospheric effects here. So when you're flying through the atmosphere, you'll actually feel like you're flying in a craft that's passing atmosphere. So there's going to be a lot of vibrations, perturbations, and you'll see that when we approach that particular planet. There's going to be quite a lot of really cool effects. This game is also going to have a very simple single-player mode where you can basically kind of just fly around by yourself and explore, but this will be mostly a multiplayer game. And essentially, I think what they're going for here is they're trying to create EVE Online, but in a sense with very like elite, dangerous like graphics and gameplay. So you actually are in a spaceship and you're a pilot of a spaceship. You're not a spaceship like an EVE, which I think is a pretty cool idea. I mean, Elite has that too, but the problem with Elite is that it's still very, very game-like. And even though the planetary landing is planned, it still hasn't been implemented. It's going to be a DLC for Elite Dangerous, and so we'll still have to see how good it is in that game. But here we can already see it in the prototype, and it looks amazing. I'm going to show it to you once we get to this planet. Now, unfortunately, this game hasn't really met its goal yet. It's a Kickstarter goal. I think it's a few thousands short, but there's still 7 days to go as I'm filming this. And I think if you have a few bucks to spare and if you actually enjoy space games, this might be something to consider supporting, because this looks pretty awesome already. And this is not even alpha yet. This is still a prototype, so I think it's definitely worth supporting if you have a few bucks. There has been a few famous reviewers like Scott Manley and Angry Joe that has actually, they said the same thing I'm saying, that this is an incredible game that you may want to consider backing this up. But this is your money. It's your choice. And this is for me to kind of demonstrate to you what this game has and why it's pretty cool. So I think I have enough energy to engage my warp drive now. Let me show you. Oh no, not enough energy. Really? Alright, so here's the warp engine. I'm just going to show you what it looks like, and then we're going to disengage it and land on this planet. So the warp engine essentially works with the idea that you have to kind of reach a certain speed, sort of like DeLorean in Back to the Future. It had to reach a certain speed. It had to reach the certain speed before it would actually engage its time machine features. And here it's the same with the warp drive. And alright, so we're entering the atmosphere. And here you go. Look, oh, whoa, I'm going way too fast. Okay, yep. Well, I guess we all knew that was going to happen, so I'm just going to try this again from scratch from this part. Yeah, I was going a little bit too fast, and I think my spaceship essentially just crashed right into the planet. Alright, so we're gonna stop the warp drive right around here. Actually, let's go over those mountains. I want to see what those mountains look like. And we're just gonna fly above the surface and check out some of the locales, specifically the greenery and some of the other parts. Okay, here we go. Slow down. There's a bit of a glitch here where I think my screen is blinking for some reason. But anyway, so yeah, as you can see, or as you can hear at least, the ship is actually experiencing some turbulence here. I'm going to actually try to get into the silent mode. Here we go. I'm gonna just do it from this mode here. So there was a lot of turbulence, there was a lot of shaking, there was a lot of creaking, a lot of really cool atmospheric effects. And as we approach this surface closer, we'll see some more features because the landscape here will be procedurally generated as you approach it. But the coolest thing is that there was absolutely no load screens. There was nothing. You suddenly find yourself inside the atmosphere of another planet. And in essence, this reminds me of my favorite simulator, space simulator called Space Engine. In Space Engine, you can actually enter planets just in the same kind of a manner. But of course, that's not a real game. Space Engine is just a planetary simulator. But this will be a game. And I think it's pretty cool that they actually managed to achieve this. Now, Space Engine does have a very complex procedural generator, a little bit more complex than this game, I think. But this is still only a prototype, so I'm sure they have great things coming. And look at this, you can like literally fly above these mountains. This looks so Star Warsy. And there's a shadow in the left part there. Alright, so look at the coolness here. This is awesome. Alright, so we're gonna just, fly around a little bit. Let's explore. Let's see what else we can find. But basically, this is the first planet we visited. So we're just going to escape into the atmosphere. And, oh, look at the beauty here. So this planet actually happens to have rings, which is pretty cool. And we're gonna go to, let's go to another object. Let's go actually explore something else. Now, I'm a little bit worried that they're still short on their Kickstarter. And I believe there's only one reason for why they're still short and why they still haven't reached their goal, and that's because people have lost faith in space games since the Star Citizen Kickstarter, which I think made a lot of people feel like they were being ripped off. When especially the fact that you have to buy these virtual spaceships that haven't even come out yet, they don't really exist, and Star Citizen doesn't even have a release date yet. So this is basically a lot of the reasons for why I think some of these Kickstarter projects are not being funded anymore. A lot of people just lost faith in them. And I think we're going to go to the gas giant first. So let's warp our engine to the gas giant. And we're going to try to see what the surface of that gas giant looks like. I'm going to try to find a really nice looking location to approach. And we're going to try to not die this time. I think this is really important for me to learn how not to die in this game, because I've been doing a lot of that. Alright, so here we go. We're leaving the planet. I should probably be watching where I'm flying. And is there anything else? Are there any other planets we can visit? I think these are maybe the only two we have right now in this prototype. But basically, this is enough for me to kind of see that I'm definitely going to be supporting this game. And this is definitely one of those projects that will hopefully become or start some kind of a space game revolution, where a lot of games will actually focus on Newtonian physics and realism, as opposed to creating arcade games like, for example, Rebel Galaxy, which I do like as well. But I mean, this would be so much better. This would be such a great game if it actually made it to the final release. And it has a really interesting atmosphere. I don't even know. I can't even imagine what causes this redness in its atmosphere, but I'm guessing it's possibly some sort of organic compounds. I don't think I've ever seen or heard about any gas giants that may have this kind of a color in their atmosphere, but it would be a pretty cool topic to explore. So what makes this so pink? I think we're getting closer to it now, and as we get closer, you'll notice that here there's going to be a slightly different landscape, because this is a gas giant. It's going to look a little bit different, or actually very different, and there's going to be some really strong winds as we approach the atmosphere. Whoa, this looks really cool. So whatever that is, whatever this effect is, and whatever creates this, would actually make up for a pretty cool scientific lecture, like what is causing all of this purpleness and this sort of like metallic-like appearance. I think it's some sort of liquid metal, possibly. We know that things like, we're starting to wobble. I think atmospheric effects are kicking in. We know that things like oxygen, when they're highly pressurized, can become metallic. So maybe this is some sort of a gas that has become... Okay, creaking. I hear some creaking going on here. I think my ship is shaking and turning. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Look at that shakiness inside. Okay, there's something red blinking. I mean, I want to disable my warp drive, actually. And altitude is currently 360, 350. Oh, wow, we're falling really fast. And you can kind of hear the winds as well. Let me just... I'm going to go back to the screen, because I think there's a bug right now where the screen starts blinking a little bit too much. But I think we're now in the atmosphere. And you can hear the winds too. If you listen closely, you'll hear the winds. And look at how strong the winds are. I'm actually flying backwards right now because the winds are carrying me away from my destination. There's a cloud right there coming, I think. So let's try to approach the surface. I actually tried that one time and it didn't turn out good for me, as you can imagine. But I made a new goal of not dying, so we're going to try to approach the atmosphere and not perish. I'm going to try not to die. But basically here right now, everything is so much different. The controls are different. The actual response of my ship is very, very sort of different because we are in a very, very thick atmosphere. So it actually feels like flying inside some sort of a liquid or even like a soup or something. You can call it souposphere. And it does kind of feel like that. Like, I'm trying to turn my ship right now, but it's not responding really well. And look at the speeds here. This is crazy. This is crazy fast. And I'm not really sinking too fast because this is a really thick, really dense atmosphere, so it's actually preventing me from falling toward the surface too fast. I may actually be stuck in this sort of... if I were to slow down and stop right now, I think I would be actually stuck at this altitude for quite a while. Just as you would be if you were to approach things... if you were to try to do this on Jupiter, for example, you wouldn't really start falling too fast because, I mean, the speeds on Jupiter in the upper atmosphere are so fast that they would just keep you in the upper atmosphere for quite a while. You'll actually just be doing what I'm doing right now. In other words, approaching surface is not as easy as you think if you're on the gas giant. Now, all gas giants have a hard core in the middle, or I guess most of them do at least. And all of them have a very, very highly pressurized metallic and liquid gases that form the sort of the outer core. And this is what you kind of see here. This is essentially that outer core, which I think is what kills you if you try to touch it. In this game, if you actually try to approach this, it will kill you. So I think we're only a few kilometers away from the surface, and look how awesome this looks. There's like steam coming out from my ship and from the planet. I guess it's super, super hot, so maybe this is some sort of a molten material that we are observing. And we're going really, really fast here, mostly because of the atmosphere just carrying us along because of the wings. You can kind of hear the atmospheric effects as well, and even if I basically just decide to stop here, I will just keep floating, because this is sort of like an ocean current. It's just very, very highly dense atmosphere that carries us along. And I mean, the effects in this game and the actual science behind it is awesome. It's super realistic. This is as scientific and as astronomically correct as you can get in the game. And I just realized we're really, really far away from that other planet. Look at how tiny it is. This is where we originally started, at that green point right there. And that beautiful terrestrial planet has awesome rings around it. Now there's another object right there. I don't really know what that is, but I'm assuming some sort of a moon. I think both of these planets are actually moons and not planets. Moons of this gas giant, because this gas giant looks huge. So let's just finish this video at this location right there. And like I said before, I'm posting the link for the Kickstarter for this project in the description below. So if you would like to support it, click on it and check it out. There's more videos there. You can learn more about the game by watching those videos as well. And if this is your first time watching this channel and you would like to subscribe, do it, because this channel is about learning. This channel is about exploring various awesome topics through video games, and there's going to be a lot of space games coming up as well on this channel. So like this video if you enjoyed watching this, and subscribe. Game you later, and let's finish this video on the other moon of this gas giant. Warping to the last destination in 3, 2, 1. Let's approach it relatively carefully, because I have a tendency to smack into things really, really fast. I'm going to try to approach this from maybe this side right here, so that we don't actually smack into the surface. And here comes the last beautiful moon. I'm guessing this is a moon because it has no atmosphere, or maybe a little bit of atmosphere, and lots of craters. So this looks like a moon of the gas giant number 2. And there's actually a spaceship right there, but I'm not going to shoot it. I'm not going to do anything to it. I'm the nice person here. Let's approach this, and we're going to explore one of the craters. Oh yeah, there is an atmosphere. I can actually hear the effects of that. Oh, going too fast down. No, 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 no. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, buddy. Pull up. No, no, we're not going to die. We're not going to die. We're not gonna... Here we go. Excellent. We survived this re-entry. It was pulling me down toward the surface really, really violently. So it looks like this moon does have atmosphere. It's a sort of an orangey atmosphere. And this is really cool. I think this is incomparable to any of the moons in our solar system, because I don't think... ooh, there was someone actually in the game. Cool. There's no real comparison because this has atmosphere, but also a lot of craters. Moons like Titan, for example, don't really have craters. They have an ice cover on top, and they have a lot of sort of liquid methane and things like that. And then dwarf planets like Pluto have a lot of craters, but they don't really have such a thick atmosphere like this particular moon does. So this is pretty awesome. Let's see if we can actually possibly land here. I want to see how the landing works. So we're gonna just slow down and just gently land on the surface of this moon. And we're gonna approach its surface. This is not really a level surface, but that's okay. You can kind of hear the winds, which is pretty awesome. This game has so much atmosphere. So here's my shadow. Let's just gently touch down right here if we can. And we're gonna stop this after we land. Yay, look at that. Perfect. Alright, now I can turn off my engines by pressing P, and landing successful. Alright, so let's finish this video here. Check out this game in the link in the description, and subscribe if you still haven't. Game you later, guys, and bye-bye.